Little 85, bro. So, back with another 85 video for MX Simulator, and I actually figured out a little bit more of a advancement to this whole thing right here, kind of another level, another layer to it. So as you guys know, this is not actually a real 85, this is just a 125 dyno in the game that is not the RM 125 dyno, which is like way faster than every single one of the other 125 dynos in the game. And on top of that, it's got the maximum acceleration gearing, shortest gears. So it's like basically what you're doing is you're taking a already somewhat slower 125 dyno in the game and then making it to where it's like where the gears are just super short and you're having to shift like crazy fast, and it has like no top speed whatsoever, and you're kind of sort of making your own little jerry-rig version of an 85. That's basically what this whole thing is, but I kind of figured out another layer to it. So basically, on top of all that, the 125s can get in 6th gear in this game instead of just 5th gear like a lot of the other bikes, and weirdly enough, a lot of times your 125s can get some crazy top speed going because it has 6 gears, obviously. Like, weirdly enough, it feels like sometimes I can get going faster top speed in this game on a 125 with 6 gears than I can a 252 smoker with 5 gears, even though obviously the 252 stroke is faster but not top speed. A lot of times it doesn't feel like with the same exact gearing on both of them. But basically what I figured out is if you'll go in there and just never even get in 6th gear, you know, if you're trying to do this like 85 challenge type of thing in the game, where you've got this totally like super revved out 125 non-RM version going here in the game. If you go in there and do all that, you know, set your gearing, can't remember the exact numbers for it, but you guys know what it is. It's where the top one is totally to the left and the bottom one is totally to the right, where it's maximum acceleration, shortest gears, and you've got that on either a KTM or a Kawasaki or a Yamaha, just anything other than the RM, so it's a little bit slower than what you're used to riding on the 125. And on top of all that, going in there and making it to where you never allow yourself to shift into 6th gear, then it really starts feeling like an 85. Now, I just kind of went in there and discovered this about it, but like even if you set this Kawasaki 125 to maximum acceleration gearing, shortest gears, it can get going pretty damn fast in 6th gear. I mean, even still, you know, like you can still get in 6th gear depending on what kind of track you're on, especially a sand track like this. So I just feel like only keeping it in 5th gear and never even getting to 6, it just kind of amplifies it feeling more like an 85. It just makes it feel even more like a little 85. Just kind of gives you the feeling of like, and very good for practice too. This is one really bizarre thing I've learned about doing this whole 85 thing is when you go in there and you have it where you can't get out of 5th gear and you're on a 125 to begin with, a slow 125 dyno, and you make it to where you can never even get out of 5th gear, it makes it to where even if you're not super fast at the game, you feel like you can hold that bike wide open all the way around the track without having to be really like strategic about how you're leaning and, you know, doing all that. It's hard to go wide open on an RM 125 that has like more of a normal gearing on it on a track like I've done in my wide open videos, but going in there and doing it on a non-RM max acceleration gearing and never getting out of 5th gear, it's actually somewhat doable, the you know, holding that wide open like the 85 challenge. So what it does is when you're able to actually do that and feel like you can hold that gas wide open, and you start learning how to lean and figure out how to move the bike while holding it pinned like that, when you go back to riding on and especially on a sand track, that makes everything better because you can lean the bike over more, and just practicing on sand tracks in general I feel like makes you faster in real life and MX Simulator. But just riding on this 85 like this, I mean it's a 125, but you know, kind of rigged to being somewhat of an 85 in the game. If you do that and then you go back to riding on your 250F normal gearing or your 450 dyno or whatever, you'll be like, whoa, what the hell? I'm actually starting to realize that I can hold this bike a lot more wide open than I thought I could, because it's like your mind gets used to just holding that throttle pinned on this little, you know, wannabe 85 right here, and bizarrely enough as it is, I know it sounds crazy, but it's like your mind, it just makes you better at holding it wide open on other bikes in the game when you're able to do it on a bike like this, whether it be your 450 or your 250F or whatever. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to just go out there and hold your 450 wide open on any track just because you did this little 85 challenge. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it definitely helps you mentally being able to hold that throttle, you know, more in that wide the fuck open position. It just helps you with that because you're able to actually do it on this bike without just instantly flying off the track or crashing. So you just learn kind of that, like getting in a corner and just and shifting the gears through the corners and never letting off. You know, it's teaching you a lot of that you need once you get to the pro 450 level, and you're able to start kind of doing that on a 450. Holy God, did you guys see how close I got this little tower right here? Literally bumped elbows with the wood. Holy shit kebabs. And bumped this little fucking SpongeBob right here too. Got super close to that. Oh my God. Yeah, that was definitely some close call action, but either way, man, having a lot of fun on this little 85. It's so weird, but it does give you the feeling of the 85. You'll crank your volume up, like right here, super hard to hook that triple, just how I think it would be in real life on an 85, right? Like, and especially making it to where you can't get out of fifth gear, and you're just kind of ringing it out in fifth instead of shifting up to sixth. It really, really gives it like that 85, you know, some of those really fast kids on 85s, how they're just like wide open everywhere. It can give you the feeling kind of like your Adam Cincerillo on an 85 at Loretta Lynn's or something like that, right? Kind of gives you that feeling to it all. So it's a very cool way to play MX Simulator. You know, if you're trying to get something like an 85, since there's not real 85s in there, I'm telling you, dog, go in there, man, on a KX or a YZ 125 or something, max that acceleration gearing, like do the top gearing. I can't even remember what the fuck it's got to be. Okay, yeah, so the max acceleration gearing, just to make this clear, I went and actually looked. It's you basically put it on -2 and 2. So the top one is -2 and the bottom one is 2. So you've got the top one all the way to the left and the bottom one all the way like fully filled up to the right, and that's going to give you the maximum acceleration gearing there. So like basically what you're doing is you just kind of cutting the power down a little. You know, you're cutting the longevity in the gears of the 125, so it's not able to really get in the meat of the power of it. It's just kind of staying ringed out in every gear, and that's what really gives it that 85 feel. And you know, on top of that, not getting out of fifth, and on top of that, not being on the RM. If it didn't have that whole dynamic of the RM being faster just in general, you know, like quite a bit faster, like if you're running a 125 race in this game, everybody's going to be on an RM. There's not even a question. Like, it's not one of those things where it's like comparing like a 2018 CRF to a 2018 FC 450, you know, and then like people are riding different bikes in the pro racing. Like, no, it's not where they're even like close to comparable. The RM is just simply faster in this game than all the other 125s. Like, there's no other way to say that, no other way to go around that. It's just simply faster. And I would say it's probably faster by like maybe 20%, 25% than all the other, you know, 125s in the game. So when you, on top of that, go to a dyno that's not the RM, when you're used to riding the RM, it really differentiates it in your head to making this bike feel like a 85 versus what you think a 125 is in this game. So it's really cool on this Millville track how you can really try hard to huck up some of these jumps. If you'll hit them perfect, you can get right on up over them. If you can hold it wide open in some of these areas, very, very cool. It's like a micro challenge on the track. So instead of trying to hit a quad on some track or trying to hit some really big jump, you're like doing everything you can just to hit the normal lines on this bike. So it's cool when you tone everything down like that, and you're kind of doing like a micro challenge instead of like trying to hit big shit. You're kind of hitting smaller stuff, but it's really, really hard to hit on this bike. But I don't know why the hell I'm having so much fun on something that's not even an 85, but I've like went in there and done so much to try to make an 85 in the game. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. It's so weird that you can do it. That it's even possible to do that. Like, I don't know. Most games, you just wouldn't even be able to do that. Like, if it didn't add an 85, it'd be really hard to go in there and make a 125 feel like an 85. And even though this game, you know, obviously is still the 125, like movement and weight and all that, it, you know, it doesn't have like a lower weight like what an 85 would have. It's so you're not getting like a truly lighter bike feeling, but weirdly enough, when you have that maximum acceleration, never get out of fifth gear on a different dyno than an RM, sometimes it can feel like you're hucking more because you're having to huck more to get up over stuff that you could simply get over on the RM, but you can't with this bike with maximum acceleration. So weirdly enough, even though it's not actually any more lighter weight than the you know, any other 125, it's just weird. I don't know. Maybe that's just me that feels that way, but when you do that in this game and you're really used to that other RM 125, it just gives you the feeling like you're on a some sort of actual 85 dyno in MX Simulator. So I'm wanting to do that on a lot more videos in the future. I'm wanting to go in there and kind of test that out and stuff. So I'm going to try to make a series on it, really try to make a you know, playlist and stuff like that. So yeah, man, either way, definitely go follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Steam, all that different stuff. Just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital. And if you go add me on Steam, I'll invite you to, you know, random 125 races on MX Simulator. Anything, man. PUBG. I've been randomly inviting people into my Discord, so go hit me up if you haven't already on Steam. Just like my YouTube channel name without the capital letters and the space between it, so just Spencer Turley, no space, no capital, and I'll add you up on there. Just hit me up, be like, hey, can I get the Discord link, and I'll let you have that. But yeah, man, either way, until next time, my dudes.